Hi, Sandy here. Today I'm going to do some cooking. I just cook the same stuff over and over. I like to cook stuff for my freezer. I'm going to make 4 batches of chili and 4 batches of pasta sauce. For the chili, for each batch, I use 2 cans of chili beans and 1 can of diced tomatoes. And I've got this seasoning, this chili seasoning, and it's hot. So I'm going to use that for all 4 batches, the 1 packet. If it was mild, I'd use a couple of packets. And then for the spaghetti sauce, I use a can of spaghetti sauce, a can of diced tomatoes, a can of tomato sauce, and a can of tomato paste. And I'm going to freeze them. There's more ingredients. I'll show you them in a minute. But I'm going to freeze them in these containers. I got them from Walmart, and I like them because my freezer came with these divider panels, and these fit nicely into those sections because I keep my freezer fairly organized, and I like to know what's in there. It's a deep freeze, and every couple of months I take everything out and I reorganize it, but everything goes in this. I got my area where I keep my pre-cooked food, and my area where I keep my chicken and frozen potatoes, and you know, everything has their own area, and I love those dividers. That's the reason I picked that freezer. But anyway, I got these at Walmart. I ordered them online, and they fit nicely in the freezer, and they come with these lids, and they got a rubber gasket on them, and I'm happy with them. But when they freeze, if you drop something on top of it, they shatter. So 4 of them have shattered. I've got like 2 more down in the freezer right now, I think. I have like 10 or 12 of these. But anyway, the lids are not that great because they shatter. So I'm going to have to cover the top with some plastic wrap and foil on 4 of them. And I'll make sure I use those up first. But it works for me. I haven't had any problem with freezer burn. My foods don't last more than 6 months to a year at the very most in my pre-cooked foods, and they're fine. I don't keep them for years and years. So over here, I buy those 10-pound tubes of hamburger, and I'm going to go to the store and get some more today because it's on sale for $1.99 a pound. So I break them down and I freeze them in 1-pound things. I use a plastic sandwich bag to freeze them. So I've got 4 here for the chili, or vice versa, and 4 here for the pasta sauce, 4 pounds. And then I buy onions. I buy 6 at a time. I got 12 of them this weekend at the grocery store, and I need to dice these up. And you have to dice them by hand. Don't use any kind of mechanical dicer because they'll get too juicy. And then I store them in these bags, and I reuse the bags. I'm very frugal. I use them until they start getting ratty, and they don't last me long. And I'm going to use all of these in my 2 pans of ground beef, and probably some more diced. But they freeze in a hard lump, and all I do is I slam it on the counter, and now they're all loose, and I can just pour off what I want. And I've been doing this for years, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But you can't use any kind of a mechanical chopper because they get too juicy, and that's not going to work. But if you do it by hand, this is great. So I'm going to get started, and I'm going to set up my camera on the tripod. Okay, all I'm going to do is dump half of these into each pan and get them cooking. I hate raw onions, but I love cooked onions, and I like a lot of onions. Okay, so my stove, these 2 are regular burners. I'm just going to turn that on about 5. It goes up to 6, and then there's high. This one is my quick boil. That's where I boil water, and it's a lot more intense heat, so I need to turn this down a little bit lower. And then the back one is my simmer burner, and it doesn't get quite as hot. So I would have, if I was using that burner, I would have to turn that up to high. So it's a good thing I know my stove. Okay, so I'm gonna dice up my onions and open my cans in fast motion. Okay, I'm back. I got my onions diced. I got all my cans open. My meat is all cooked up. I'm going to take one pan. I usually put this in the sink, but my tripod is in the sink right now. This is 80% ground beef with the onions cooked into it, and I always drain the fat off. I've got this pretty much chopped up. I'll chop it up a little bit more before I work with it. I'll go ahead and pour all that in there. I usually do. Okay. I'm going to chop up the bigger chunks, and at the same time I'm pushing a lot of the fat out. Okay. I'll put that back in the pan. Put that way back out of the way. And I'm going to do the chili first. So I'm going to put my chili packet into the meat and stir it up. I don't know why, but sometimes when I post my cooking videos, I lose a few subscribers because I think they want to be there for the scrapbooking and paper craft stuff. But this is important to my paper craft stuff because this helps me make quick and easy meals after working all day, and then that gives me time to play in my craft room. I'm itching to get up there today when I finish my cooking. And I gotta run to the store and get some more ground beef and chili pack seasoning. I probably won't be making any more chili till next year, but I like to keep stuff on hand. Okay, now there's gonna be 4 batches of chili. Now obviously all of this is not gonna fit into this pan, so what I do is I divide this up into 4 equal things. Reasonably equal. Smells good. Okay, shake that around. I think this one has more, so I'm going to put some over here because it looks like it has less. It's reasonably equal. So I'm going to take one of these, dump it in here. And then I'll take a can of tomatoes and 2 cans of beans. Normally I toss my empty cans into the sink because I rinse them out and recycle them. But my tripod for my camera is in the sink. So I'll rinse them later. And I'm big on recycling. All those paper labels went into the recycling bin. Okay. I'm going to stir this up. And pour it back into the container. And it's ready for freezing. Now when I cook this, if you like your chili thick, you're ready to go. I like my chili juicy. So I always add half of a tall can of tomato sauce, tomato juice. I always add a half a can of tomato juice. And my family likes theirs a little thicker, so I'm usually the first to dish up. And I take a lot of the broth. So everybody's happy. I like my soup have a lot of broth too. Okay, So I'm going to do this 3 more times in fast motion. Okay, I got 2 of them wrapped because I don't have the lids. So I wrapped them with, you saw me do the first one. And I wrote on with Sharpie the date and chili on there. And on these, of course, I don't want to write on my containers. I just put a piece of Scotch tape on there and wrote in the date and chili. Okay. And these will go in the freezer in a little while. And they're not very hot because I don't cook this stuff right out of the can. It's going to get heated up when I reheat it. So, and I got my spaghetti meat all drained and ready to go. Oh, I'm going to put it in the pan. I got it poured out of my pan, not my strainer, because I don't want it dripping all over my counter. Okay. So I'm done straining. I'm done cooking the meat. And this is just an old ice cream bucket, as you can clearly see. Put the lid on that, and that's going to go in the trash, just as it is. Okay. I need my containers. So again, we'll pour this into 3 equal sections. Lumps right there. This one seems kind of like less meat. And I feed 4 people. There's me, my husband, my teen daughter, and my brother who lives with us. And sometimes we have leftovers. I usually use just 1 pound of meat. You know, if you have a 1/4 pound hamburger, you know, that's plenty of meat, and so they get a 1/4 pound of meat. Okay, I'm going to need a tablespoon. Okay. So I'm going to dump this in the pan. Just to give me, you could put it right into the container, but this gives me a lot more room for stirring it around. So, my spaghetti sauce. Now when I make my spaghetti sauce, there's 4 different size cans. So, I saved these. There's the 4 lids for the 4 different size cans, and I dropped that into the big can in the bottom. And then this in there. Then I have to use my tablespoon to get the thick tomato paste out of my little can because my scraper doesn't work very well in there. Now in some communities you don't need to rinse out your cans. They prefer we do here. And I don't mind doing it. I don't want a bunch of stinky trash out in my recycling bin in the garage. So I can just rinse this out, shake it around, just like that. It saves space, recycling. Okay. So I'll stir this up. The tomato sauce is kind of lumpy, and sometimes I don't get it stirred up really good. But by the time you heat it up and stir it, it'll be fine. So when I make spaghetti, or we like goulash and spaghetti, sometimes mascaccioli, I use 2 pans. I boil some water over here and make my pasta, and then I heat my sauce here. You gotta put a lid on it because it'll spit and spatter. Then I drain the spaghetti and pour it into the pan. We like our pasta mixed in with our sauce. Some people like the sauce poured on top, and certainly you can do that. Okay, I'm going to do this 3 more times in fast motion. Well, thanks for watching. I still need to get these covered and labeled, put them in the freezer, rinse out my cans, wash my dishes, and then I'll be done. And we're not even having this for dinner tonight. I'm making my ham potato casserole, which I kind of invented. I use cubed ham. I buy the big, like, farmland ham, the processed ham, and I dice it up into, like, well, I think it's 4 pounds, so I put it into 4 sandwich bags. And so I use one of those sandwich bags, about 1 pound of ham, and I use the diced hash browns and a bunch of my frozen onions, and I brown all that together in a large frying pan. And I use some vegetable oil, whatever kind of oil you like to use. Get that all browned up, and then I get a bag of frozen corn, and I put that in there, mix it in, and let that get heated up. And then I get a 8-ounce shredded cheddar cheese, spread that across the top, and get that all melty. And that's it. It's pretty good. And I like to make cornbread muffins with that. That's what we have for dinner. So, thanks for watching, and I hope you come back and watch my scrapbooking videos. I don't scrapbook much because I've been caught up for 2 years. I only scrapbook when I get an order of photos in. I've been waiting about 3 months now, and I only have 84 photos, and I order photos when I get to 100. So, we'll make some scrapbook pages, but I do like to make my tags and borders for my scrapbook pages. And I like to organize my stuff. I record that a lot, and I like to do my glue books. You probably don't know what those are. They're like collages in a book, and you can look it up if you're really interested. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.